Joining us now is Melanie Lieberman, senior travel editor at The Points Guy. Melanie, great to have you on. So, what are you seeing when it comes to the impact travel has had on people's willingness to get vaccinated?
Yeah, one of the key takeaways is really how much people are seeing this vaccine as the signal that travel is about to come back. We found that about half of Americans said their desire to travel was influencing their willingness to take the vaccine, which really underscores how ready people are to travel and how much optimism is sort of wrapped up in this vaccine rollout.
Do you expect that airlines are going to have some type of vaccine requirement and that people will need proof of a vaccine to get on?
That's a really great question. And we are seeing indications that this is happening throughout the industry. At this time, it's being talked about largely on a country level, but also we're seeing it with certain tour operators. Cruise lines are discussing it as well. So it's very possible that having some sort of proof of vaccination will be a requisite for traveling, depending on where you want to go or who you want to travel with. That's absolutely a big topic in the industry right now.
I guess there is the legality of it. Is that legal? Does that pose any legal questions?
We can really look to things that have happened in the past to get a sense of how this could work. And I think the yellow fever is a really great example. I'm sorry, the yellow fever vaccine. So if you want to travel to certain destinations, you have to have proof of having the yellow fever vaccine. And if you don't want to do that, you can't travel to those places. So I think for a lot of people, this is really going to come down to a choice. How important is travel? How important is taking certain types of trips? Going to certain destinations, but these are absolutely things that can be required. And I think we're going to see it required on a much larger level since this pandemic has been, entirely across the world.
So last year, there was a big uptick in domestic travel and road trips. What
Mhm.
kind of trips are people planning now for 2021?
People are still really sticking to those close to home getaways. In this study, we asked people to talk about what types of trips they'd be comfortable taking after receiving the vaccine. And by and large, I think road trips and those domestic flights are going to continue dominating throughout the rest of the year. But there is an uptick in people looking ahead to booking trips for the summer that might include international getaways. There's even more optimism around cruising as people think about how they might want to travel after getting vaccinated. So there's definitely a correlation between people having immunity and feeling more comfortable venturing farther away from home.
How long do you, I mean, and this is the million dollar, trillion dollar question. How long do you think it's going to be until we see travel hit those pre pandemic levels?
It's a long road. It's definitely a long road. I wish I had the crystal ball, but I think there's a lot of optimism about this summer. So much is going to hinge on how successful this vaccine rollout is and how quickly it can be available to really all Americans. And so that's the thing that we have to watch so closely. But I know that travel providers are really bullish on summer travel starting to come back in a more meaningful way. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I think we're all waiting for that crystal ball to clear up.
In terms of summer travel, are there any locations that seem to be trending at this point?
Yeah, we're still really seeing a lot of what we saw last year. And I think so much of that has to do with the uncertainty that remains for travelers. The vaccine has boosted optimism, but it's not going to overnight restore things to normal. So we can expect to see people really venturing to national parks, state parks. Beach trips are going to be big. And like I said, I think the road trip will continue to be a really popular choice for many Americans this year.
All right, Melanie Lieberman, senior travel editor over at The Points Guy. So great to have you on. Appreciate it.